Hi guys, I'm Erica. Welcome to Hack Your Health. In today's video, I'm going to let you know what supplements I'm stocking for myself in order to prepare for fall, because I think this might be really relevant and helpful to a lot of you, or at least I hope it will be. So I do have an older video where I go into the supplements that I take, and for those of you who don't know, I have a history of autoimmune diseases, especially alopecia areata and Crohn's disease. So I like anti-inflammatory things, and I'm not on any medication, and I live a normal life. I don't strictly follow the specific carbohydrate diet or any other diet anymore, so I do think supplements are probably good for me, considering that I'm eating conventionally grown food. And of course, in the future, I'd like to eat more of food that I actually grow or are grown locally. And for now, I'm supplementing just like a lot of us. So what I bought today, I'll start with that. So I got fish oil, and this is a Canadian brand. I'm not sure if it's going to focus on that because I have it set to focus on my face, but basically it is anchovies and sardines, I think, or I forget, but it's very small fish, and they take the oil from that, and that the small fish are less likely to be contaminated with mercury or other things like that, and it's often less expensive. It's also considered more sustainable than, killing really old fish, like fish that take a long time to grow. So I think that that's a pretty good choice, and this is tested for heavy metals and everything like that, and it's in these gel caps, so it doesn't actually need it to be refrigerated. That's what she told me at the store, because the gel cap is very big. It's a gelatin capsule. So I would recommend this or something like it, and I can put that in the description box as well. Basically, if you have any kind of inflammation, it's really important to take fish oil because of the omega-3s. It's good for your brain health, so it's good for your mood and your concentration and even your memory. And it's also really good for your joints, and it's really important in the winter as well. I think that it helps keep you warm, but I think that's a subjective thing. But taking oil, I feel like, is something that is kind of warming in the winter, but that's a subjective thing. The rest of it is all like truth. You can find it online, facts or whatever. And basically, omega-3 is anti-inflammatory in the body, and you can really only get it from certain sources, and fish oil is the best one. If you live especially in a northern climate, I think that basically everyone would benefit from taking fish oils. And the next thing is vitamin D. So in fatty fish, there's vitamin D, but in fish oil, there is not vitamin D, and honestly, I can't tell you why. I don't know, but unless you're taking cod liver oil, you can check for yourself. I think cod liver oil has vitamin D in it, but I'm not 100% sure. But the rest of them, like this one, doesn't, so you have to take it separately. So this is the same brand as that other one. It's a Canadian brand. I'm not sure how easy it is to get, but I'll put something equivalent in the description box. And this is just some drops of vitamin D. There's been a lot of stuff about how vitamin D is helpful against, I'm not allowed to talk about it probably because I'm not like an expert or whatever, but a certain concern on people's minds. I know because I have a video about vitamin D, and the views definitely went up when all that started being talked about. But for me, it's more important because of, again, mood and mental health. It's really helpful for that. It's also helpful for keeping your bones healthy, and it's really great for people with autoimmune diseases or to prevent autoimmune diseases. I'm not entirely sure why, but there seems to be a very strong association between low vitamin D and a lot of other diseases. So it's definitely smart to take vitamin D, especially in the winter if you live in a northern climate, because we don't really get to produce it unless we're exposed to the sun. And our Western diets are very low in vitamin D. Like, you can get it from salmon, you can get it from pasture-raised lard, you can get it from certain foods, but it's not in the kind of, you can get it from eggs, But you would have to eat a lot of those different kinds of foods in a day to get what's considered the kind of optimal level, which isn't even a decided upon thing. But even if you were going for the lower end, it would be really hard to get it all from food with the way that we eat. So it's a good idea to just take some drops. And so this is one way of doing it, and these are peppermint flavored. And there's lots of brands of vitamin D3. And another thing that I got today is this CoQ10. This is something that I think is a little bit less everybody should take it, but I'll tell you why I'm taking it, just in case there's a few of you that are like, oh, I want to try it too. So usually it's recommended for heart health and having a lot of energy. And CoQ10 is also really important according to the Weston A. Price Foundation. It's one of those ones that's found in organ meats and certain foods that we sort of exclude from our diets a lot as Western people. So it's something that would have been a lot more present in traditional diets and almost nothing in a typical, standard American diet or whatever you want to call it. So if you eat liver, for example, there's that in liver, and I am forgetting exactly all the things that have it. But what I want to take it for is I've noticed my gums are not looking as good as and healthy as I'd like them to be, and I've read online that that it helps with gum disease. So I'm going to take it and see if I notice an improvement in my gums. But usually it's for cardiovascular health and energy. So you can do your own research, definitely not prescribing anything to anyone in any way, but I'm just telling you that it's something that I researched, and based on what I read, I was interested enough that I decided to try it for that particular thing. Another supplement that I've been taking for probably a year or two now, and I have a video about as well, is iodine. And this is Lugol's iodine. It's like a 2% solution, and I used to put it on my skin because it'll absorb through your skin, and then you can't get more than you need. But now I usually put a drop in water, but I don't do it every day. I probably do it a couple times a week, let's say, and I definitely have noticed a huge difference. And by the way, that's not a prescription. I'm just telling you what I do, and I'm not even sure what the right thing is to do, and that's why I err on the side of doing less, and that's why I put it on my skin every day at first, so I couldn't overdo it. So do your own research and decide for yourself what's appropriate for you, or go to somebody that knows, like maybe a naturopath would know. I'm not sure, but I'm just letting you know that's what I do. And I noticed a really big difference with basically to do with my hormones, like pain around my menstrual cycle specifically is why I started taking it. And I noticed a huge difference. I felt way, way, way better. So I was definitely deficient in this, even though I ate a pretty healthy diet and I live close to the ocean, so I do eat seafood fairly regularly. I was definitely deficient because I noticed a huge change. So I would recommend it if you are having those kinds of problems, or actually it affects a lot of things. I would recommend trying it if it seems safe and relevant for you, because I think that a lot of people are deficient in iodine, and it definitely makes a difference if you bump it up. At least that was my experience. So along those same lines, that's from seaweed is a really good source of iodine. So I eat dulse from time to time. I also just like it, and I put it in sauerkraut sometimes, or put it in soup because it's salty. And so some kind of seaweed is a good idea. You could also try kelp, and I'll put a few sources as well in the description box. And I'll probably make a whole video about seaweed or kelp. Haven't quite decided, but if you have questions about that, put them in the comments so that I can include the answers in the video and kind of get a sense of what people are interested in knowing, because that's a really great source of iodine, and there's not too many foods that are a good source of iodine either. I do have a video about that as well. And yeah, so those are the things that I am supplementing. And as always, I still eat homemade yogurt. And when I buy yogurt, I buy local grass-fed yogurt. That's for the probiotics and the calcium, and that's very nourishing food. And eating probiotics can also really improve your mood, and as well as your digestion. So definitely it's important to include something like that. You could also do kefir. And another thing that I continue to eat is sauerkraut, homemade sauerkraut. That's really another thing that boosts your immune system, I think, or it helps regulate your gut microbiome. And your gut microbiome and your immune system are very closely connected. So if you have a healthy gut microbiome, chances are that's gonna be conducive to good overall health, and eating fermented vegetables is really helpful for repopulating a lot of good bacteria. And of course, that's also really good for your mood. I make kombucha as well for similar reasons, but I try not to overdo it because that's made with sugar, although it's digested by those little guys in there and broken down. I try not to drink a huge amount of it, but that's something really enjoyable as well. And also I keep going with the bone broth. So those are some of the things that I consider really essential. And during the pandemic, when people were being told to always sterilize and clean everything, I was like really resistant to that idea because I think that our immune systems actually need something to do, basically. And I got more into composting in the backyard. There was a compost back there and I kind of redid it. And I think being exposed to soil microbiomes, so eating fresh local food that's like grown in good soil, is really, really important. Or even better, growing your own vegetables. I mean, it's really the wrong time of year right now, but it's good to be prepared. So, you know, if you were thinking of starting a garden next year, honestly, I think it would be good to kind of start thinking about it now in a way, or at least by like February. So anyhow, I think that that's another great way to get connected with your food and connected with the soil, because soil microbiomes, I think, are another thing that's going to be a big thing. And maybe I'll make a video about that as well, because it has such a huge impact on health and mood and everything. So that's basically what I got for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and all the best to you on your healing journey or your journey in continued good health. Okay, all the best. Bye.